Yo, what's going on? Johnny here. And no, this isn't some pitch to buy, overprice, and recycle non-compliant leads or some scheme to recruit you to a run-of-the-mill agency that will magically make all your dreams come true. This is a no-fluff, real and valuable training for final expense telesales agents, showing you how I and tons of other telesales agents are actually scaling to $20, $30, even $40,000 a month in straight commissions in 60 days or less, using a little known but powerful and proven client acquisition system that scales like clockwork. I call it the Goldilocks method. I want to respect your time because as a telesales agent, I know time is money, so I'll just keep this super brief and jump straight in. But before I do, just to be clear, this system does all this successfully without cold calling random people, weird and awkward conversations with friends and family, or fighting other reps for 4-year-old junk leads. Now, when I say the Goldilocks method, what in God's green earth am I even talking about? Let me start by telling you what it's not. You see, most life insurance agents are like rodents, hamsters to be exact, stuck on the perpetual lead buying hamster wheel. You know the drill. You buy a batch of leads. They usually are a hair above literal trash, that are old, disinterested, and not exclusive, and off to a terrible start already. But you see, you're a serious and professional agent. This is your year. You're gonna get on top of that leaderboard, defend your position on it, and finally make some real money, because you're gonna be different. You deserve more. So you begin cold calling these people endlessly until maybe, just maybe, you make a sale, or maybe even two. And usually and truthfully, if you're being honest with yourself, if you can get anyone on the line, you start to rush and stutter and vomit out your words, because you seldom get to actually have a quality interaction, having no real tried and true script structure to lean on, and no real community to practice, develop, and celebrate with. All this translates to a lack of confidence and conviction on the phone, leaving the majority of prospects disinterested, guarded, and rarely, if ever, ready to buy. To be fair, sometimes you do get a person or two to move forward, but by then it's been days, sometimes even weeks since your last sale. Now you're reeking of desperation and stress. You scurry off to push another app through, and you get whatever minimal commission to come through, just to find you owe all of it back and more to the lead vendor overlord for your next batch of subpar, virtually ice cold leads, and back through the gauntlet you go. See, I know this because this was my reality and personal hell too. In fact, after 3 rounds of this, 50,000 cold calls and $15,000 in debt later, I was done. So my wife was adamant. I either get out of the business, get a real job, and slink back into a miserable and mediocre life, or figure it out for real this time. And I was at a legitimate crossroads. I mean, 50,000 cold calls, like for real. I mean, 50,000 cold calls. This reality sucked, but failing out like 92% of other agents in this industry, becoming just like another meaningless number in that pile, and drifting off into the corporate obscurity, that was somehow even worse. Despite the daily fog of exhaustion, my mind was in. One thing was crystal clear. There had to be another way, because I'd met and worked with and interviewed and spoken at events with the top agents like Cody Askins, David Dufour, agency owners running the biggest agencies in the space. I mean, transparently, I was a standout in Cody Askins' Ultimate Agent contest, consistently sat on the top of my IMO's leaderboards, and heavily recruited to join tons of other teams. But I digress. But as for these agents, guess what? They were normal. They regular dudes with nothing extraordinary about them or the business they conducted. Despite knowing all this and accomplishing this stuff, I still felt behind, frustrated, scared, and uncertain as the immense pressure to get out from under this crushing cycle continued to build and build. Desperate, I kept at it, pushing, tweaking, failing, making some money back, and asking everyone in the industry, what else can I do? And what am I missing? I remained at it for what felt like an eternity, hammering away at my craft, honing my skill, then out of sheer will and activity started making some sales, until one day I was between calls. So I happened to look back through all the notes that I took, near incoherent scribbles written down all over the months, notes to myself of what worked and what didn't, and why. And by total accident, I literally created the exact method that I was looking for all along. I boiled it down to 3 main components, each giving me an ironclad strategy for generating motivated, cost-effective, and exclusive leads that strike the perfect balance between quality and quantity, closing 1 to 5 sales a day like clockwork, using a powerful question-based framework that lets me handle objections preemptively and smoothly, and a clear and easy way to scale profitably to the moon by taking advantage of the cutting-edge AI and automated backend systems. In other words, a simple but massively effective client acquisition system that let me virtually print money. And as promised, I want to share with you those 3 steps now. The very first one is having a streamlined process to get consistent, good quality leads. Now the problem that you're facing right now is not a quality of leads problem, it's a quantity problem. And you've been brainwashed to thinking that you need good quality leads, when the reality is you already have probably decently good leads, you just don't have enough of them. So your closing rate is subpar on the leads, which leads you to break even, maybe make a little bit of profit to just pay next month's rent. But that's pretty much it. There's no true money to have the freedom that you have been looking for. So you need a good mix of quality and quantity leads to help you scale your business faster. The second one is actually having a question-based framework. And I'm not talking about building endless rapport with clients who genuinely don't care about answering what the weather is like. They just want to get to the point, and they want you to help them get the insurance in place that they requested. And the very last and final thing is using AI in the background to leverage the work that you're already doing. Because here's the truth, you as a solo producer, the highest leverage task that you can personally do is sit in front of clients consistently, because you and I both know the more that you sell, the more you're going to get paid. And you rinse and repeat that to $20, $30, even $40,000 per month in actual profit, not AP, not just written business, but actually sold, issued, and paid business. This monumental shift in the way I did business hit me like a ton of bricks. It felt like scales fell off my eyes, and I could really see what succeeding in this business took and looked like. And I finally had a simple but proven and duplicatable system for acquiring hot exclusive leads, an ironclad script for working and closing them, and scaling frameworks for knowing when to scale the whole operation with absolute certainty. And what the crazy thing about it all is, the guys I looked up to in the space were crushing it, had this one thing I didn't know, but now by mistake I did too. And to be honest with you, upon discovering all of this, I was pissed. Like pissed at how brain dead yet simple and effective the methods I tripped into creating, refining, and now was using on a daily basis really were. I sat dumbfounded here that it had been staring at me all along. But as I looked at my bank account over the past few weeks to verify if what I thought could be true, my eyes almost popped out of my head. I saw way more commission deposits than I spent on withdrawals, and had several other deposits pending to clear in the coming days. For the first time, I was actually in the black by a huge margin, and this brought me back to my senses. And now, feeling a renewed sense of excitement and energy, I ran off to find my wife and talk to her and convinced her to give me one final try. Finally, after my endless trial and error, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I put my head down and I got to work. Not even 30 days later, I struck gold. It was surreal. Within a month, I cleared my first $20,000 in a month in commissions, $32,000 the next month, $42,000 the month after. And since then, I've maintained the high level type production and never looked back. I'm gonna pause right now because I know there's a lot of sketchy stuff to wade through online regarding who's really done what they say that they have done. So here are my receipts. As you see, there's Great Western, there's American Amicable, there's Baltimore Life, all the carriers paying me in straight commissions, because I'm not talking about AP, I'm not talking about written business, I'm talking about actual profit to feed your family. Revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family. Now, if I was you watching this, my mind would have gone back and forth between skepticism and wanting to believe it's true and could happen for me. I'd probably be thinking, yeah, Johnny, you were on Cody Askin's Ultimate Agent, beating out seasoned competitors and people who'd been selling insurance for a while, and I saw you speak at David Duford's mastermind. I've seen you speak on Cody Askin's stages, but you don't understand, my situation is different. If you think that, I get it. The truth is my story is mine alone, but tons of other agents are crushing it with this system too, all coming from different situations. Like take Max for instance, who consistently is doing 30 to 40,000, even 50,000 in a month, and has on 3 separate occasions done over $19,000 in under 5 days, each with less than $1,000 of ad spend, all the while taking weeks off at a time to travel and enjoy the fruits of his labor. But before that, he was working old, aged, expensive, and recycled leads on his own with no support, no real structure, and his sales process was not dialed in. He was 2-call closing. Then he implemented this system and has been absolutely crushing it for over a year, 1-call closing. Or maybe you're like Gonzalo, who is selling door to door, right? You know what I'm talking about. Going out to the sketchy places, pounding the pavement, knocking doors, and getting uncomfortable, asking to go into other people's houses. And he actually tried Facebook ads in the past, but the thing that he was missing that distinguished him from just running just another course and actually using the Goldilocks method was that he didn't have the proper information, right? The up-to-date information that real telesales producers use. The mix between having great quality, but then also having great quantity. So he's able to live in an abundance mindset. And with this, he was able to transition from selling door to door to selling over the phone. And within his first 3 weeks, actually had a 5.6K day all over the phone. Or maybe you're like more so like Brandon, brand new to the industry, not having the right mentorship that you need, or maybe lacking the proper lead flow. In his first 30 days, he went from $0 to $22,000 in approved and issued sales and only $1,400 of ad spend using the Goldilocks method. Or Kyle, who exploded his production, topping a little over $25,000 in his first 14 days using this system. And never mind Alex, who doubles his income from being a teacher, or Madison, or Christian, who's doubled his sales month in and month out, or Adam doing $20,000 without buying leads, or Brian, or Jackson, or Colby, Ashley, all instantly profitable in a week or less, fully implementing the Goldilocks system and are scaling to new heights now. Plus all the other agents that are getting it started forever, changing their situations and building their lives every day using the simple Goldilocks method. But let me stop you here for a second. I'm going to ask you to suspend any disbelief that you might have right now, just for a moment, and imagine this. You join these ranks of successful agents inside a community that's actually rooting and cares for you, with a system that was designed to consistently get you these results, 5, 7, even $10,000 days, a calendar packed weekly with prospects wanting you to sell them insurance right now, and so many hot exclusive leads flooding your pipeline you can't even get to them all. This business starts to feel like a game, one that's winnable, and the one that's you're playing on easy mode. You wake up and you're excited, actually looking forward to hitting the phones, confident that 1, 2, 3, even 5 sales is now the norm, instead of dreading the dials and the grind. 20, 30, even $40,000 months in straight commissions not only feels possible, but it becomes your new standard, a realistic outcome you can and consistently achieve. It starts to feel like your new standard, a realistic outcome you can and will consistently hit, that allows you to finally do all the things you promised your loved ones you do for them. That forever home, that dream vacation, that brand new car that you've been thinking of, retiring your parents, giving back to causes that are near and dear to you, whatever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want to do it. As your head hits the pillow each night, you smile to yourself as you drift off into sleep, fulfilled and proud of the business you've built, for the life that you've afforded your family, and impact that you're having, all because you implemented a tried and true Goldilocks method and system that truly unlocks the huge potential that you've always had inside you. Now you might be saying to yourself, Johnny, this sounds amazing, but why the heck would you be sharing this with me, this massive discovery, instead of just keeping it to yourself? And I'll tell you why. Because I know how it feels to lose. I know how it feels to get behind. I know how it feels to not know where the money's coming from for rent, tomorrow. I know how it feels to look like it's all working out on the surface and yet internally be screaming, panicked, and fearful that you're one app decline and bad batch of leads away from failing out of the business. That feeling sucks. And it was my reality for much too long, as I made every mistake in the book trying to figure this out. So I told myself if I could even help one other person avoid the pitfall and pain I experienced while learning how to take advantage of what's working right now with tried and true frameworks that let you virtually print money on demand, leading to a never-ending flow of fat commissions month in and month out, then it would all be worth it. And I want that for you, because you're here, you're watching this video and know in your heart of hearts that you can do it, that your family's worth it, that you need to change now. Here's what I want you to do in order to change your life. All you got to do is click the little button down below this video to schedule your free strategy call with me. And no, this isn't a gimmick. This isn't a 27-step process leading nowhere. This is the first step in changing your life and getting the freedom and financial independence you know you can and need to have. When we speak, I'm going to show you the exact 3-step blueprint that myself and tons of other top telesales final expense agents are using to rip these commissions like clockwork. It's the same exact roadmap that I took to go from $15,000 in credit card debt, buying junk and worthless, expensive leads, to taking control of conversations with prospects to avoid wasting my time, actually closing deals in a consistent way to generate my own exclusive red hot leads with a crystal clear way of knowing if and when to scale the systems and automations I harness to explode my results without cutting deep into my profits. Let me make something very clear though. The way business is done is always changing, from carriers to ad platforms and agencies and regulations. There's no guarantee that things will remain the same. I want to take you 60 days from now. Either one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to continue making $3, $5, maybe even $10,000 a month or less, struggling to make ends meet, doubting every move you make, and growing more envious of the agents who took the leap of faith and are crushing this system because you know you could have been doing this yourself. Or you're going to have bet on yourself, access the proper help and guidance you were lacking, and be so glad you booked the call months ago, because now you're happier, you're freer, you're richer, your personal production and agency are scaling past $20,000 to $40,000 a month in profit. The only thing standing between you and that dream of becoming reality is clicking the little button below and scheduling your free strategy session. Success leaves clues. Winning systems and frameworks let you literally shortcut your way to success. Don't spend another second in a reality you hate and that's behind you. Click the little button below, schedule your free strategy session, and take the first step in fundamentally changing your life and becoming a profitable producer who's proud of the work they do and the life they provide for themselves and their loved ones. Do yourself the favor right now. Schedule your call below. Let's connect, let's talk, and game plan on how you can take your production to new heights. I look forward to speaking with you soon.